Hello everyone. Now in this video tutorial we are going to discuss about the another problem which is based on the conversion of Mealy machine to its equivalent Murray machine. So as we have discussed earlier videos about the conversion of Mealy machine to its equivalent Murray machine, or the some problems based on the conversion of Mealy machine to its equivalent Murray machine. Now this problem was also asked in the previous year's university exam. Okay, so now we are taking that problem for the conversion of Mealy to Murray machine. Now as we know that the table of Mealy machine is having 5 columns, where the first column represents the current state or the present state. The second column based on the input and the next state. Third column is for the output corresponding to the next state for the particular input value. Then the fourth column is for the next state of input, the another input, and the fifth column is representing actually the output of the output generated when we are transiting towards that particular next state for the given input value. So in this table we can see we have two input values 0 and 1, and the corresponding states are, the current states are these Q0, Q1, Q2. These are the number of states in this Mealy machine, and the transitions goes to these number of states. Okay, and then you can see the corresponding outputs to be generated here. These are the outputs. ज़रूरी नहीं है कि हर क्वेश्चन में हमें आउटपुट जो है वो 0-1 ही फॉर्म में दिया हो. आउटपुट आपको कुछ भी मिल सकता है, कुछ भी दिया जा सकता है. ओके, सो ये है एक प्रॉब्लम है जिसे हमें सॉल्व करना है. वी नो दैट हाउ टू सॉल्व दैट प्रॉब्लम. यू जस्ट नीड टू फॉलो सम सिंपल स्टेप्स. सो इन द सॉल्यूशन, the steps that we need to follow, very first step is construct. These steps we have already discussed in the previous video tutorial also. So construct the transition table if state diagram given. Okay, so if the state diagram is given for the Mealy machine, so we need to construct its equivalent transition table. But for this question we have already given with the transition table, so we just need to skip this step. Okay, so our solution starts from the step number 2. Construct, the next step is the state diagram, construct the intermediate table. Construct the intermediate table Okay, construct the intermediate table. Then the step number 3 is we need to construct the transition table for the required Murray machine. Okay, so and then if we need to construct or design the transition diagram or the state diagram corresponding to the Murray machine, so we can draw it. So draw the transition diagram or the state diagram of Murray machine. So these are the simple steps that we need to follow here when we are solving these kind of problems. Okay, so these are the steps. We just are following these steps. Now if the diagram is given, so we need to construct the transition table first. यानी कि अगर हमें Mealy machine का डायग्राम दिया होता है तो हम पहले टेबल बनाते हैं, जैसा कि हमने कल जो वीडियो डिस्कस किया था, जो प्रीवियस हमारा वीडियो था, उसमें हमने देखा था कि हम डायग्राम से जो है कन्वर्ट कर रहे थे पहले टेबल में और फिर टेबल को आगे सॉल्व कर रहे थे इंटरमीडिएट टेबल में बदल कर. सो यहाँ पर हम इस स्टेप को स्किप करेंगे क्योंकि हमें डायग्राम नहीं, हमें सीधे जो है टेबल दिया हुआ है, ठीक है। सो ट्रांजिशन टेबल हमें नहीं बनाना है, ट्रांजिशन टेबल इज ऑलरेडी गिवन करस्पॉन्डिंग टू द मशीन, वी जस्ट नीड टू स्टार्ट विद दिस स्टेप। सो द नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज construction of intermediate table. So you just need to construct the intermediate table here. Okay, now so we just need to construct the intermediate table. So this, we know that the basic structure of the intermediate table is similar to the table structure of Mealy machine. So as we know that here this is the structure of a Mealy machine table, we just need to draw the same structure for the intermediate table also. Now so we have this say tabular structure, बट जो एंट्रीज होंगी उनमें थोड़ा सा जो है चेंज आ जाएगा। ओके, सो वी हैव दिस प्रेजेंट स्टेट, this is the next state, then this one is for the input, so we have two types of input values here, one is 0, the another one is 1. Okay, then this will representing the state, here it is the output. Okay, now we're starting with the states. How many states are there in this intermediate table? So for this we need to refer to the given table of Mealy machine. So सबसे पहले हमें देखना है कि कितनी स्टेट्स हमारे इस डायग्राम में आएंगी। हम स्टार्ट करते हैं सबसे पहले Q0 स्टेट से, which is the initial state. Now in this initial state now Q0 state for input 0, we have the state as Q1. Now for input 0 at Q1 state, we have the transition at Q1 state, but हमें पहले ये चेक कर लेना है कि यहाँ पर हमें Q1 के कितने इंस्टेंसेस मिल रहे हैं, यानी कि टोटल नंबर ऑफ स्टेट्स पहले हम निकाल लेते हैं। सबसे पहले हम ये चेक करते हैं, हमारे पास 3 स्टेट्स हैं एक्चुअली, वी हैव Q0, Q1, Q2 स्टेट। ओके, नाउ सो फॉर दिस अगर हम Q0 स्टेट से शुरू करते हैं, सो Q0 स्टेट के कितने इंस्टेंसेस हमें यहाँ दिख रहे हैं, सब यहाँ एक भी Q0 स्टेट नहीं है, सो कोई हमें इतनी सोचने की ज़रूरत नहीं है, Q0 एक ही बार आएगा ना। Q1 स्टेट की अगर हम बात करें तो Q1 स्टेट एक बार यहाँ आ रहा है, एक बार यहाँ आ रहा है, एक बार यहाँ आ रहा है। नाउ सी द आउटपुट करस्पॉन्डिंग टू द Q1 स्टेट, वी हैव N and Y, that means we have two different outputs. So what we say, we need to generate two different instances corresponding to the Q1 state in the intermediate table. So we just need to write it as Q1, one of the output is N and the another output is Y. So we need to generate two instances for the same state called Q1. Okay, now and then the next is Q2 state. Okay, this is the Q2 state. So for the Q2 state, how many instances we have here? We have Q2n with output n and Q2 with output y. So we need to generate that one as a Q2n and Q2y. So we need to generate two instances for the Q2 state also. Now, so we have completed with this okay, so just complete it. नो क्यू नॉट स्टेट और अब हम ट्रांजिशंस को कंप्लीट करेंगे यहाँ पर क्यू नॉट स्टेट पर ट्रांजिशंस। अब ध्यान से देखिएगा कि ट्रांजिशंस हमें कैसे फिल करना है। एट क्यू नॉट स्टेट फॉर 0 ट्रांजिशन गोज टू Q1। ओके, सो वी जस्ट नीड टू राइट Q1 हियर। हम Q1 तो लिख देंगे, लेकिन अब Q1 के हमारे पास दो इंस्टेंसेस हैं, यहाँ हमने दो जनरेट कर लिए हैं, तो इनमें से कौन सा इंस्टेंस जो है हम यहाँ लिखेंगे। तो उसके लिए हम यहाँ देखेंगे हमें क्या मिल रहा है आउटपुट में n। सो जस्ट राइट डाउन Q1 n, Q1 n। ओके, now the output we have here is n, so just write down the output value as n. So because of this output we have this state called Q1n. Now Q naught for 1 we have the output state, we are transiting towards the Q2 state। हम Q naught पर 1 देने पर Q2 state पर जा रहे हैं। Again we have two instances for Q2 state, Q2n and Q2y। okay, so for this what we need to do, हमें कौन सी स्टेट लेनी है यहाँ पर। इसके लिए हम क्या करेंगे, यहाँ चेक करेंगे कि ये Q2 के करस्पॉन्डिंग आउटपुट क्या आ रहा है। तो यहाँ Q2 के करस्पॉन्डिंग आउटपुट है n, सो यू जस्ट नीड टू राइट Q2 n and the output is n। okay, similarly we just need to take this state Q1। अगर हमें इसे फिल करना है तो Q1 को रेफर करना होगा Q1 with 0 Q1। okay, output is y, so we just need to take it as y and here it is y। similarly Q1 for 1 Q2 output is n, so we just need to write it here as Q2n because of output n। okay, then Q1y, so we just need to repeat this thing here without making any changes। just write down the same transitions। okay, now Q2n we have the transition for Q2 is Q1n, so just write down Q1n, and the next one is Q2 but of output y, so Q2y, here it is n, it is y। now the last one is we just need to repeat the above steps because these states having the same transitions, we don't need to think about it। okay, so this is what we call the intermediate table, and we need to construct the transition table for the Mealy machine। so the another step is, the next step you can say is we just need to follow to construct the transition table of the Mealy machine। okay, Mealy machine। now so now the structure of a Mealy machine table is, you know that it is having only four simple steps, or we can say 4 columns are there. Okay, so for this सबसे पहले हम जो है टेबल का स्ट्रक्चर बना लेते हैं मूरे मशीन के. बहुत शॉर्ट में यहाँ पर बना देता हूँ कि only 4 columns, 1, 2, 3. For the present state, the next state, okay, or into input 1, input 0 and 1, we have the output corresponding to the state. Okay, now we just trying to complete that table. This intermediate table, we just need to make the entries here. The initial state as Q0. Okay, transition for this one goes to Q0 Q1n. Okay, now the state is Q1n, and for 1 the state transition goes to Q2n. now अब आप यहाँ आउटपुट क्या लिखेंगे? आप यहाँ अगर आप देखें तो आपने कहीं पर भी Q0 का कोई ट्रांजिशन नहीं देखा. In that case, if we don't have any output to be generated regarding any states, we just need to specify the output value as 5. Okay, so just write down 5 here. We don't have any kind of output. Okay, then the Q1n state is Q1y, Q2n output is the output is n. Yes, we have the n corresponding to this value. Okay, now the next state is Q1y. Transitions are similar to the above, but the output will change. Here it is the output value as y. Okay, then the next is Q2n and Q2y. For Q2n, the transitions as Q1n, Q2y. The transitions are repeated for that state also, Q1n, Q2y. But here the output values are changed now. So we have this for this state Q2n, the output responsible as n, and for Q2y we have y. You can see so this is what we called the transition table for the Moore machine that we need to generate. Okay, now if you want to construct an equivalent diagram for a machine, we just need to follow that step as so we can draw the transition diagram also. Okay, So for that purpose I am taking here so we can draw here we have the transition table. You can see here we have the transition table. Okay, now so this is the transition table for the Mealy machine. We can also draw the transition diagram for the Mealy machine. Here we have the transition table corresponding to the Mealy machine. If you want to draw the transition diagrams, we can also draw the transition diagram of the same Mealy machine for the same table. Okay, so we just follow these simple steps as how many states that we have here. So we have the states as Q0, where the output at Q0 is, we have the output value as 5. Okay, then the next state is Q1, N. Okay, and the output at this state is N. And the next is Q1Y, the output as Y. Then the next is Q2N and Q2Y. The corresponding outputs as N and Y. So these are the states we have. Okay, so these are the number of states. Similarly, now we just need to draw the transitions corresponding to these states. So we just need to complete the transitions. So Q0 state for 0, it moves towards the state for 0. Okay, and for 1 it will move to Q2N. Okay, so Q0 for 0, Q1N, and for 1, Q2N, and its output is 5. Okay, so for 0 you can say it moves towards Q1N, and for 1 it will move to Q2N. Okay, now the next is Q1N. For Q1N, for 0, Q1Y, for 1, Q2N. For Q1N, for 0, Q1Y, so you can say it move like this for 0, and for 1, Q2N. So for 1 from the state Q2N. Okay, so we have the transition as like this. We just need to specify the input values here. So this transition is for input 0 and this one is for input 1. Okay, then the Q1Y, for Q1Y 0, Q1Y, That means the self loop for 0, q1y for 1, we have q2n. So this q2n. Okay, just specifying the inputs here. Okay, now q2n for 0 q1n, q2n for input 1 q2y. So q2n for input 0, it will transit from q2n to q1n. It means the reverse this way. Okay, now q2n for 1 q2y. So we just need to specify the input values 0 and 1. Now q2y, the transitions are same. q2y, the transitions are same. Okay, so for 0, it will move towards the q1n, and for 1, it will move towards it is on the same state, so the self loop. So we just need to specify the transitions as like this. Okay, it will be for 0 and the self loop for 1. Okay, so self loop for 1. So that's, we can say, the block or the state diagram corresponding to the Mealy machine. Okay, so you can see here. Okay, so we have the state diagram for the Mealy machine. Now, so that's all for now. You can see here, this is what we call the solution. We have started with this problem. Okay, these are the steps: construction of intermediate table, then the transition table of Mealy machine, and at last we have the transition diagram or the state diagram for the required Mealy machine. Okay, this is the transition table and this one is the transition diagram. Thank you so much.